Hi, everyone, and welcome to the first session of Families for Safe Dates. My name is Holly Smith, and I will be guiding us through each of these sessions. The goal for each of these sessions is to help create an environment where you and the teen in your life feel like they're in a safe environment to talk about dating safely. Here at Safe on Main, we truly believe that these conversations can lead to your life changing, your teen's life changing, and them going down a safe path when it comes to dating. Again, my name is Holly Smith, and I work at Safe on Main, where we believe that stopping abuse for everyone is possible through prevention, education, through shelter, and through legal advocacy. This is our very first session, so let's talk about learning objectives. We're here to do a few different things. I will absolutely answer your questions about what Families for Safe Dates, the program is. We're going to explain how the program works, how it's going to help you, and our main goal is to talk about dating and dating abuse and how to try to prevent that from happening. We'll introduce you to some important facts about teen dating abuse. I'll be referencing it as teen dating violence most of the time, or TDV. So if I say that in the future, that is exactly what I'm talking about. We're going to discuss some of the harmful effects of dating abuse for teens and for their families in this session. And I'm going to describe how to introduce Families for Safe Dates to your teen. That's going to be our first session. We'll be discussing a lot more different topics in other sessions, and we hope you tune into those as well. So let's dive right into a Q&A session. First question, what is Families for Safe Dates? Safe Dates is actually an evidence-based curriculum that is introducing the topic of teen dating violence to teens and trying to prevent it from happening in the future or it further happening again. So, particularly, I go into high schools and I teach this curriculum to high school students, normally about 9th or 10th grade, sometimes older, and it is aimed exactly at them. So, Safe Dates for Families, or Families for Safe Dates, interchangeable, is exactly what it says. It's the Safe Dates curriculum, but it is aimed at families and how to bring families together to have this conversation about teen dating violence and how to have that not happen within your family. So that's what we're going to be introducing. That's the topic, and that is what Safe Dates for Families is all about. Next question, what is covered in these sessions? So let's dive right into it. We are going to have a variety of sessions with a variety of different topics, and there's 5 main points to what we will be talking about. The first one is talking about dating. We're going to help families and teens just like yours talk comfortably about dating in general, laying the groundwork for a later conversation about dating abuse. With the second session, there'll be skills for handling conflict. Teens learn how to recognize and manage anger and how to settle disagreements. These skills can help reduce and resolve conflict in all kinds of relationships, including dating relationships. We'll talk about recognizing dating abuse. This will help families and teens like yours recognize signs of dating abuse, learn what abusers do to control dating partners, and identify harmful effects of dating abuse. Fourthly, we'll be talking about how to prevent sexual dating abuse. This will help you and your teens recognize sexual dating abuse, including rape, and identify its harmful effects. They also learn practical, real-life ways to prevent dating abuse and rape. The very last one that we'll be discussing, and again, all of these will be kind of over the different sessions, will be planning for the future. This is going to encourage teens to develop goals for how they want to treat their dating partners and how they would like to be treated by their dating partner. Teens are encouraged to develop a plan for what they will do if they are treated disrespectfully or abusively by a dating partner. Let's talk about who should be involved in these sessions and how much time this might take. It's up to you when deciding on which sessions to play for you and your family. I would encourage you to do all of them, together. Each one of them will have activities to do. I'll give you time. I'll pause in the video to give you time to do those together. But they can take as little as 5 minutes, or they can take, 25, 30 minutes if you'd like to, if you and your teen are having a really good conversation. So who should be involved in this? You and your teen. Whether you're a caregiver, guardian, parent, whoever it is, if you have a teen in your life, this is for you. If your teen isn't dating yet, or maybe you suspect your teen is already in an abusive relationship, it's not too late and it's not too early. So going through these sessions will be really crucial for their development, for dating safely, because it will inevitably happen at some point, whether we are thinking about that or not. So doing this now and going through these sessions is going to be a really big benefit for you and your families. While teaching high schoolers, I tend to use a lot of different scenarios. This is a chance for them to maybe put themselves in the scenarios or hear some things and say to themselves, wow, I'm actually dealing with the exact same thing. And talk about it from, maybe a third person perspective on how to deal with this. So I'm going to give you guys the scenario real quick, and then we'll go through these questions. So the scenario starts out with Marcus and his mom. Amanda and her 13-year-old son, Amanda may or may not be you, Marcus, are watching a movie together. In one scene, a girl is treating her partner disrespectfully. Amanda considers making a comment to her son. She feels this could be a good time to talk with him about dating and healthy relationships, but she decides not to. She thinks to herself, this could be embarrassing for both of us. What if Marcus doesn't take me seriously? Besides, I don't have much information to share with him anyway, and he's not really even dating yet. I'll wait. Does this sound familiar? We watch a lot of things. We hear a lot of things. There's a lot of news coming out where you might think, hey, this might be a good opportunity for me to speak to my child, or my niece or my nephew, or that child that I know at school about a particular dating relationship. So where exactly should you start? Start at any moment. It might be a little bit awkward, but that is okay. And if you're thinking like Amanda, you don't know much about teen dating abuse or any type of dating abuse, that's okay. Teens are more willing to discuss sensitive topics with people that they believe have some sort of knowledge and understanding. You don't have to be an expert, but going through these sessions will really help you to know and understand what teen dating abuse is and how to deal with it. Maybe you feel like you don't communicate well with that teen in your life, but you got to start somewhere. Improving teen-adult communication about dating is one goal of this program. So it will be easier to talk to your teen about dating abuse or teen dating violence after this. It might feel a little embarrassing, just like Amanda was thinking, hey, maybe it'll embarrass both of us. And you may feel uncomfortable at first talking about these issues, especially the very sensitive ones. So this program eases you into the discussion if you would like to go through it with your teen or your partner, your spouse, whoever it is. But starting with fun activities that address these sensitive topics and potentially embarrassing topics could make it a lot easier. More sensitive issues like sexual dating abuse and date rape prevention will come up later. And after you and your teen are talking more easily about dating, that's when it will come up. So we won't dive right in head first. It'll be a little bit easier. Going through these sessions together will hopefully make you feel very adequate in knowing what you're talking about. Draw from your own experiences. You guys are going to learn together as well, and that's a great thing for your teen to see that you're learning along with them. Starting the conversation could be awkward, but a great place to start is these videos and going through the scenarios and activities together that we present. Maybe you're watching this first session alone, or maybe you're watching it with a friend or a partner. So if you've gotten to this point so far, let's do an activity together. So you are going to look at the screen. You can pause it, and I would like you to go through these statements and decide what's true and what's false. I will give you the answers at the end. If you are watching this with your teen, or maybe you're rewatching it, that's fine too. You can go ahead and pause it and take as much time as you need, and we will go through the answers afterwards. Let's go through these answers together. So hopefully you had enough time, you paused the video, and you are all finished. So we're just going to go 1 through 12, and I'm going to give you guys the answers. So the very first one says caregivers usually don't know when their teen is being abused by a dating partner. That is true. Most teens involved in dating abuse do not tell their families. In fact, teens will go to great lengths to hide it. Teens say they're afraid of their parents or caregivers will overreact, be judgmental, and make them end the relationship when they're not ready to. Often they feel embarrassed, ashamed, and afraid of losing independence. Number 2, boys are rarely the victims in abusive dating relationships. That's actually false. Nearly equal number of boys and girls are victims of psychological and physical dating abuse, but girls are more likely than boys to be victims of sexual dating abuse. Number 3, being insulted by a dating partner is not that big a deal as long as there's no physical violence. That's false. Psychological abuse often leads to physical abuse. Being insulted is definitely a sign of disrespect. People who are in physically abusive relationships often mention that they are first victims of psychological abuse, such as being insulted. Number 4, teens who have never witnessed violence in their families rarely become involved in abusive dating relationships. That's false. Most teens in abusive dating relationships have never witnessed any violence in their families. Number 5, rape is more common among college students and older singles than it is for teens. That's false. Teens between the ages of 12 and 17 are at the highest risk for rape. Most victims know who their attacker is. Number 6, dating abuse happens only in heterosexual relationships. That's false. Some teens date people of their own sex. About 25% of those teens report being victims of psychological and physical dating abuse, and 10% report being a victim of sexual abuse. We will focus on this a little bit more within these sessions, same-sex, heterosexual, all different kinds of relationships. Number 7, dating abuse is more common among teens from low-income families than among teens from families with more money. That's false. Abuse is just as common among teens from high and middle income families as among teens from low income families. 8. My teen could never be a dating victim or abuser. That's false. Teens from all kinds of families have become dating victims and abusers. Family members of these teens often say they don't understand how their child, who was well behaved and from a supportive family, could have been involved in dating abuse. 9. Girls do not abuse their dates. False. Girls are just as likely as boys to use psychological and physical abuse. However, girls tend to use less forms of physical abuse than boys do. And we'll get into those different types of abuse later as well. Number 10, when dating abuse happens once, it's likely to happen again. That's true. Abuse usually occurs again in the relationship and gets worse over time. It does not just go away. 11. Digital dating abuse is less serious than in-person dating abuse. False. Digital dating abuse is just as serious as in-person dating abuse. Digital dating abuse is also a predictor of an in-person abuse. For example, teens who perpetrate digital sexual dating abuse are far more likely to commit in-person sexual dating abuse. And the very last one, caregivers have a big influence on how teens treat their dating partners. That is true. You might feel like you no longer have influence over your child and how they act and react to other people, and it seems like they might not listen to you at all. But that's because teens are just trying to find a balance between independence and dependence, and that is not easy for them. It's kind of like being toddlers, right? But teens need and want guidance. Despite how they act, it does matter to teens what you think about the people they date. Teens learn a lot about how to act with others by watching and listening to their caregivers. Now that your teen is dating, or maybe they aren't dating, or getting ready to date, they'll be looking to you even more for clues about how to act in dating situations. So hopefully you learned a few things from this little quiz, but that is our main goal, is for you to learn a lot of things through this program, through these sessions. So hopefully this was just the start. We have gone through quite a bit in this very first session. Hopefully you are excited and ready to do the other sessions. Again, feel free to do them at whatever pace you need to, but I encourage you to finish the rest of them and continue learning about what teen dating violence is so that it can be prevented from your teen happening to them in the future.